So, all about changing strings. Simple, easiest, and most effective way to keep your guitar and you, the player, sounding good. So, looking at these strings right now, you can see that they're almost matching the color of the body. That's showing a lot of oxidation. Not good. You can see from here to here, strings look almost new. Or if we take this, that's what a new string, that's the color of a new string. So you can see that these are pretty heavily oxidized. Time to change. From here, we're going to remove the strings from this Martin style guitar, Martin guitar. Simple tool you need. A pair of diagonal cutters. We're going to lift up the pins gently. All right, that's it for the pins. You may ask why I don't use the pin remover on the actual string winder. In past years, I've actually had the plastic leave marks on the bridge from the peg winder, and I don't want to do that, so I've gone to using just the diagonal cutters. All right, so pull the pins out, simple, set them aside. Lift the strings out. Wrap them up nicely. Make sure they get to the trash can right away if you can. Okay, so that's 4 minutes and 20 seconds to get strings off. That's all we've done. While the strings are off, I'm going to clean the fretboard and condition it. That's the only product I use anymore. I'm also going to tighten the tuning machines. You need a 10mm wrench or nut driver, whichever. And just snug them. You're not going to crank them down super duper tight. Just snug them so that they don't rattle. That's it. All right, so this product, Gorgamite, it's actually a cleaning cloth that's oil impregnated. Does a wonderful job of cleaning the frets and also the fingerboard. But it also leaves enough oil to treat the fingerboard. So, for instance, we'll start with the bridge, just clean up the bridge real quick since we're going to clean all the other wood. And then we'll do the fingerboard itself. Wipe off all your excess. And yes, you can scrub against the grain without hurting the grain, without leaving micro scratches. This is just giving a final polish and wiping off all your excess. And done with that. Now, while we're here, I want to also clean the body since the strings are off, so you get the nicest cleaning opportunity. We're going to do this with just straight up water, nothing special. No polish on a matte finish guitar or satin finish guitar.
Now, why is that?
Because that will gloss the finish eventually. So wipe that little bit off the fingerboard.
That's plain
Just plain water, nothing special. There you go, one clean top so we can start to put strings back on. So I took the saddle out. Just want to make sure I put that back in. You notice how easily that slides in. I don't have to use a pair of pliers or a pair of cutters to lift it out. Just finger pressure. That's how a saddle should fit. Okay, we can start stringing at this point. We're going to use factory strings, which are the Martin Authentics MA540Ts. Right, I like to start with the lowest string. I'd like to take one moment though and show you something kind of important. These bridge pins have a slot in them. I don't know if you can see that here or not. Let me get my pencil. That slot needs to face the string. That is to actually accommodate the string when you put this in the bridge. So for our first string, make sure you unwrap those away from you so that you don't end up getting something in your eye. Just ball end in the hole. Now where that slot is in the pin, in the bridge pin, you've got to put that up against the string, pull, and then just give it a sharp tug. And that should do the Martin tie on this guitar, since it is a Martin. We're just going to pull that in, pull it taut. Put your thumb on the nut, slide it back 1 fret. Now here's where the Martin tie is different. You're going to bring it around the tuning peg to the inside of the headstock, underneath the string, and then back over the top of the string. We'll do that 5 more times so you'll get a good idea. And then we're just going to put tension on the string. You'll notice how the string starts to wind over that little bit that you just brought back over the top. And wind everything towards the bottom of the peg now. Now the reason for pulling that string back 1 full fret, as you notice, it gives you 2 wraps on the post. Do not cut the string yet. Just turn that hole in the tuning post towards the fingerboard. Slide it back 1 fret. And around towards the inner part of the headstock, underneath, and back over the top. The thought process being that this is going to lock the string to the post. All right, the reason Martin and many other guitar companies started using that tie on the string post was because the original posts, as you can see, were dead straight. So if you were to just wrap the string around the post, it would slide back through. Most of the new posts, even this very inexpensive tuning machine, now have this concave cut in them, so as you wrap them, it will actually force the string up against what would be the stem of the string coming out of it. So that's why the Martin tie, but it's kind of a not super duper necessary thing anymore. It can be a peace of mind, but I don't find it to be necessary. Pulled taut, slide back 1 fret. And now it's time for the famous string stretch. That really isn't stretching. All you're doing is really settling the ball of the string against the bridge plate and the pin, and tightening the windings on the post. So we're just going to give it one of these. Don't have to be crazy. And you'll find that each one of these strings is probably dropped about half a pitch. Though you might ask, why stretch or settle the strings? It's for speed of being able to pick this guitar up and play with it quickly again and still maintain tuning. Nothing more than that. You're not going to hurt the strings. You're not going to do anything crazy to the strings. You're just trying to settle those balls. And I'll show you a little bit later on about the ball end and where it's settled up and how it's pulled in place. But now these windings are nice and tight around the posts, so they're not going to slide one way or another. And that's it. That's our Martin restring. All right, just for the sake of neatness, we're going to give it a haircut quickly. With this, I'm just going to pull the string naturally back straight up. Just rest my cutters right on top of the tuning machine. Clip. Again, hang on to those pieces. I like to cut my strings afterwards because years ago, when string winding wasn't as good as it is today, trimming your wound strings before you put them on would sometimes allow the string, or the core and the winding, to actually come loose from each other. And it would cause all kinds of crazy buzzing. So we'll go back and just touch up the tuning. Simple tuning, done. And then that's it for the Martin restring.